One, two, three, 5150. Here we go. Matt Price, Behold the Monolith. Welcome to the 5150 AD podcast. How you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Nice to be here.
Nice to be talking to you again.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So much to talk about. The pandemic kind of sidelined our conversations for a bit. Why don't we first start off with the new record that you've had out since July?
Okay.
The Fathomless Deep. That's an interesting title. And what's interesting about this record, it's been getting some very good reviews. This is the new Behold the Monolith music that you've released with your, what is this, the fourth singer now, correct?
Third. I mean, if you don't count me, that I did one gig where I did vocals. No, it was always Kevin was first, and obviously, he passed away. Oh no, wait. You're right.
The lovely young lady, I can't pronounce her name. She's an amazing photographer, by the way. We should give her justice. Karina Gorbacheva?
Katarina.
Okay, well, that was close. Well, what do you want from a guy from Bohol?
And then we had Jordan before Kate, and then Menno. So that's four, unless you count the one. I did one show where I did the vocals, and it was a technical nightmare, and that's something I've never wanted to do. So
I thought you did. I've been present at the many renditions of Behold the Monolith, and I thought you did an excellent job on vocals. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you sing on Architects?
I do a little bit of the vocal. I mean, here and there, but no, that was Architects was Jordan.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I should know that, but it's been so long. What was that? 2015 when that record came out?
It came out the end of 2015. Yep.
That's a great record. Let me redirect to the present day. So you have a new record. You have, as you mentioned, a new vocalist / bass player, Menno. Let me give him his justice. I hope this is his correct name. Oh, Jesus, where the fuck is his name at? Well, he goes by Menno, so we'll just leave it at that. There you go. This is a fantastic record. In the whole catalog of Behold the Monolith, starting from the beginning with when you had Kevin, rest in peace, by the way. The music has always maintained a heavy, what I would say, foundation, but the musical growth, the direction, the overall growth of the band has matured, and it's very relevant with this release that you have here. I commend you on that record.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
These are my interpretations, being the listener. This record, it started off with the last one, actually, Architects, but this record seems very more darker and very more musically diverse in a way. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I guess I think it's more of the same stuff we've always kind of attempted, just maybe a little bit more of it. Or maybe we're a little, I mean, not to self-appraise myself, but maybe we've gotten a little better at it. You know what I mean? Like the mellow passages, there is some different stuff, I guess. Like there's definitely some more deliberate, like prog rock, tip of the hat stuff going on. And I did kind of, I guess on our first record, I did a little bit of the Southern rock slide thing, and I guess I bring a little bit of that back with a little bit less apprehension. But yeah, I could see where it would look like where it's more diverse for sure. I think more diverse than the last one. Architects was cool, but it had a lot of different stuff going on, but it was different stuff.
Yeah, I really like, you know what I really like? It would be unfair for me to categorize the different renditions of the bands and saying that the chemistry, because you've always seemed to have miraculously chemistry with these different vocalists after the death of Kevin. You've always, that's very rare. We've discussed this in the past in our prior interviews, how you've been able to incorporate these different vocalists and how they gel well with the Monolith. But on this record, there's a different energy to it with the addition of Menno. It seems like he fits in hand in glove, and not only in the musical sense and definitely in the vocal duties, but the jamming aspect of it. When I listen to this record and when I've seen you live perform these songs, it seems like you guys have been a unit forever, and that's not the case. Would you
Right.
agree with that?
I would. I think part of that is that, well, right when Kevin died, right after Kevin died, and we were kind of in mourning, Rhett from Grave Hill was having a birthday bash, and he wanted to put together for his birthday party a Venom cover band.
That's right. Yeah, that's another great project you've participated in.
And Menno was the obvious Kronos. So I've been playing with Menno for all this time, and that, and because we both still do gigs every now and then. We haven't done one in a while since the pandemic happened, but there was always, like, every few months, it was always me and Menno and Rhett in a practice room. So it was kind of, when the time came, and it was kind of a no brainer, and so there was already some, like, kind of chemistry there, and
Yeah, I
also
agree.
a grindcore thing called the Grand Opiate, which nobody really knows about, but it's on Bandcamp, and it was the two of us and a different drummer, Casper's, this guy named Casper's. So, like, never played live with them. I think they did some shows with the previous guitar player, but so we had been doing stuff anyway, So there was maybe a little bit of chemistry already kind of happening there, and he used to come out to Behold shows. He says he's a fan, was a fan, and so I just think it just kind of, we've been really lucky in that respect. I mean, obviously it was horrible what happened with Kevin, and that's very unlucky. But yeah, we've been able to still keep moving forward, and a lot of bands don't get second and third chances, So
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of bands are not able to stay consistent artistically in the different renditions. One of the things that I like about this record, as I mentioned before, my interpretation of it is that it's a little more darker, and yet there seems to be so many elements that I like, in regards to jamming. There's let me give you some of the songs that stand out for me. Like for instance, The Wailing Blade.
uh-huh.
That right there, that song and Spirit Taker really transcend very well where the unit is now present day. I really
Yes,
And overall, 45 minutes of Behold the Monolith, man. The new Behold the Monolith it's powerful more than ever. When these songs were first being composed, was this during the pandemic?
this was prior. Like, I think you were at one or maybe both of the shows. We did a couple, like 2 or 3 shows with Menno. I want to say it was 2019, and we had Crown, that the opening track. We had Crown, and then we had a version of Cyclopean Dread. So basically, the first 2 songs on the record. Uh, and we had a bunch of other riffs and halfway finished stuff that we had been working on with Kate, and when Kaz was in the band too, before we got Menno. But all that stuff, not intentionally, but it all wound up getting thrown away. Not like we didn't say, well, let's just trash all this stuff. I think right before the pandemic, we were just kind of like, well, it was before the pandemic. Me and Chase were playing with Lord Dying, and we wound up leaving that project. And when we left that in 2019, like mid 2019, we're like, let's fucking do Behold. Let's, because we were kind of doing a little bit of this and that.
Were you taking a break at that time from Behold? Or was that just like a paying gig that came and you guys sidelined the primary band?
It started as a hired gun thing. And when we went on that tour with Entombed AD and Voivod in Europe, and then they asked us to join the band. And we're like, okay, well,
Whoops.
it's sure, why not? I mean, I was actually having fun playing bass. I've never really done that in a band before, and those guys had management and label and all that stuff. So it was like they were getting tours and stuff a
Right.
little more than, like, Behold was. Although Behold had just come off of doing Europe, and I was doing like a little bit of hired gun, like I did the Armored Saint thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I recall that too. That was actually pretty cool.
yeah, it was fun, a lot of fun. But but yeah, and then it became like a band thing. But they lived up in Portland, and I think everything's better now because they have people that are like local to them. Because it was, I think the long distance band thing works for some bands, and for other bands it doesn't, and it wound up not working out for a few different reasons, but whatever. But yeah, that's kind of when we weren't consciously taking a time out, but Kate was the vocalist, and she was having problems with visas. And we didn't know if she was going to be staying or going. And Kaz got really busy with Sasquatch,
Mhm.
and and that's kind of how we got Menno. Is he's like, dude, I'm going out of town. I'm going to be gone for like 2 months on tour. If you guys want to start jamming with somebody else, I totally understand. You have my blessing. I don't want to hold you guys up. And then I was just like, okay. And the only person we considered I knew was Menno. So I was like, why don't you come down? And then Kate was having her problems with stuff, and she was really into her photography. So we were a three-piece, and we're just like, this feels right, and we just this feels like how it started, kind of like this is the
I was
dynamic.
just going to say that it went back to it went full circle.
It went full circle, and and I think we do better as a three-piece. I just think with the egos in the room, and more, and not. It's just a more fun thing to have like a three-piece to me for this band. I mean, for other bands, like if I did another band, I might want harmony guitars and two guitar players and maybe a stand-up guy. But like with Behold, it's cool because we don't have to worry about a vocalist or like stepping on somebody's ego, or there being it
You
was
know,
weird.
I love drama. Why was there ego drama with vocalists in the past?
It was just it was. I mean,
Let's
it's
get it out there. Let's exercise this.
stuff I don't want to get into because some of it involved other people, and it's just a whole thing. But like
Yeah, it's in the past.
of the band stuff was like I mean, yeah, it was difficult to pin. Jordan was a difficult guy to pin down. He was. I think he was going through a rough time in his life. There was other stuff involved too. I really would rather skip. But like, I think we did the right thing. We definitely did the right thing in letting him go. But even with Kate, it was just like there wasn't drama with her at all. But it was just like there was always like, okay, well, what do I do? Because we have parts of the songs that are like long instrumental passages, and like the singers. A lot of times, if you have a stand-up vocalist, they don't know what to do during those parts. Do they walk off stage? Do they take a knee and crouch? Like I've seen some people do that.
Right, right. Do they do the whole fucking theatrics on stage while you're jamming?
And it's like that's the last thing I even want to about. Like when you have three dudes in the band and we're just trying to survive and get some vocals into the microphone and play, and
Right.
it's just a better. It's more fun for us,
You
and I
know what?
think
I'm gonna throw something at you. What I originally liked in the early version of the band, which when you were a three piece, was
right.
how it was a well-oiled, functioning, deadly machine,
Yeah,
deadly sonic machine. What I like now, present day, is that the energy, the camaraderie, the musical camaraderie, the union of this well-oiled, deadly sonic machine is very relevant in a new day and age.
right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it has the elements of the past, but it's present day and it's new.
Right. Yes, I do see that. I think we took, and I see what you're saying because that's another thing. It's like that's the fun of being in a three piece to me.
Simple.
Because on record, you can kind of get away with like doing overdubs and this and that. Like, I mean, even though they weren't power trios, but like musically, like a band like Black Sabbath or like Queen or classic rock stuff, they might have a bunch of elaborate like harmony guitars or rhythm guitars, and but they're cut some slack, or at least they used to be, like in the 70s and 80s. For like the live experience was different than the recorded experience. You know what I mean? You could sound one way on the album, and it could be more open to improvisation live. You don't see that as much these days because everybody wants to sound just like the record, but we still like doing that a little bit. So in that respect, we're a well-oiled machine, I guess is what you said. Like there was definitely some of that with Kevin, but even more so with Menno, because Menno's a monster. I mean, he's just a great
Oh, it's
bass
a
player,
beast.
and he's a seasoned. He plays all different kinds of music. He plays with a bunch of different bands. You know, we're lucky to have him, and he could do the vocals. And we're not trying to like make room for him. This is what I meant about like part of the thing about ego is like we didn't have to make space for him to be melodic or be like a, you
Right.
know, we had issues with that. Like, you know, we had written a bunch of stuff, and then right before we went in to record Architects, Jordan, one of the things he decided he didn't want to do like the guttural vocals anymore. He just wanted to sing. Like it's like, well, dude, we've been practicing it this way, and we talked him back down. But like, there's with the three piece and one or two of us just kind of doing vocals or trading vocals. It's like there's you don't have to leave this space open for some other artists to do their thing. It's just kind of what it is, if that makes sense. You
It
know,
makes perfect sense. And let me get this, let me redirect this to the new record. Is that why this new record, when you listen to it, has the components musically of all of you showing your years of talent and coming together artistically to write new music, but it gels well with the good energy of no egos, everybody enjoys each other, everybody's enjoying playing and coming together.
I definitely think there's an aspect of that. I think it's a big part of it. I mean, some bands I hear about it, and I hear about conflict being really integral to the band's sound, and like the band members hate each other, but it actually sometimes it brings something to the party until it doesn't. There's none of that with us. I mean, we're you know, me and Chase, we've been playing together a long time. We've butted heads from time to time. I think it's normal, kind of. You know, we found set up boundaries or whatever. You know, if I don't want to sound like pop psychology jargon, but we get along and we're
Right.
friends. And with a guy like Menno that comes in that's friends with both of us, yeah, it's a good vibe.
It's
And
a great balance.
so like we're not nobody. It's tough to play with somebody when you don't like them. You know what I mean? And I'm lucky that I haven't really had that much of that experience with very many people. You know what I mean? It's like it the band as it is now. I hope it stays this way, and I think it will. I think and I don't know if we would have another lineup. I think this is the lineup, and I hope we at least get a couple more records out and maybe get to tour or go back to Europe
I
or
would like to see that as well because as I mentioned, I really like the energy and the what you've all put out on this new record. Let me mention this record again. It came out in July. It's fantastic. The Fathomless Deep. And I
from
believe I believe the record label is Ripple Music. Is that correct?
yeah, from the Fathomless Deep on Ripple Music, and yeah,
And it's on all streaming networks, but you know what? I'm an old school guy. Go buy it. Hold it in your hand. The artwork, I mentioned this in my prior interview with another artist, and I'm glad to see it with you as well. The artwork on this album is amazing.
thank
Is
you.
that where does the origins of that?
Dusty, man, Dusty's done all of our album covers. He's a guy that
Oh, so he's the original artist of all your album covers?
same guy. He was friends with Kevin on the old relapse boards on the forums online. I don't know if you remember those, but like,
Yeah, yeah, I do.
and they were friends, and we were trying to find an artist for our first record, and he knew him from that, and just kind of asked him. And I think Dusty's most recent thing at that point was like the Fathomless Mastery. Ironically, Fathomless that word, but not. I didn't consciously put that together to sit down. But the Fathomless Mastery EP by Bloodbath,
Right.
and then he did the or was it no Unblessing the Purity, that was it. Unblessing the Purity EP, and then from the Fathomless Mastery was the album, and he did both of those album covers, and I think that's what he was kind of doing at that time, and he just came on. He's a professional. We paid him, and he got it done. But the thing about this album is we kind of just let him do whatever. Like on the past albums, on the previous albums, um, it was like we had ideas of what we wanted to do. Like on Defender Redeemus, we are like, okay, if we could get like a uh, functional, like the chick from the heavy metal soundtrack. you know, with the sword, you know, what I'm talking the cartoon in the '80s. If we could get that, but with like functional armor, and I kind of like the little dude on like Sin After Sin album, you know, the little android looking guy. Somewhere
Is that where that came from?
we could get a combination of that and Screaming for Vengeance, but in the style of this artist. And that's how Dusty. That's kind of the notes we'd give him, and that's kind of what I mean. Like,
Oh,
uh,
this guy is a professional. And my God, the patience too. Like he's probably like, what the fuck these guys want, man? You want heavy metal? You want Judas Priest? What? Okay.
well, that's exactly right. And then the architects was similar, not as it was based loosely on I forget what the artist name was, uh, and it started off with Hawkwind Warrior at the end of time, or Warriors at the end of time, with the guy on the cliff.
Yeah.
Totally different now, but like that's like I was like we wanted that kind of vibe, but a different style. The thing with this album was he just said, "Hey, he's like, hey, dude, can I just do my own thing on this
Yeah,
one?"
like fuck you guys. Let me just do my thing.
No, he basically told us, "Fuck you guys." No, he was like totally into doing it, but he said he'd really love to just, you know, because one of the things he also does besides having our little notes is we always give him the demos.
Of
So this
course.
is
Of course. It's the marinating of the subconscious.
exactly. So like the only notes we gave him on this one were just like, well, we have an Elric song, you know, kind of a Michael Moorcock, Elric of Melbourne song, and we've got some Lovecraft stuff and a couple nautical theme songs. Do what you will. And so he came back at us with a really Lovecraftian cover, and it was perfect. It
You
just
know
fit.
what? You unshackled him and
Yes,
you allowed him to really it's I said this again, mentioning in my prior interview, and it's the similarities are the same. This his artwork, the artwork on this album cover is worthy of being put on a wall, put in a museum. It's that fantastic.
it's nice. No, he did a great job. We were super stoked. And you know, hopefully, like I said, my thing is to get us, you know, doing some shows. You know, live stuff still bottleneck, but my goal would be to at least another album or two out of this lineup. I would love that.
Well,
And
I would like that as a fan as well. Let me throw this at you real quick. You just recently played the Psycho Fest, and I'm going to mention the tour that you're going to be doing here. Well, but let's go back to the Psycho Fest. How did you enjoy playing these new songs in a live setting in a live arena? Because let's be honest, we just barely came out of the fucking global pandemic and isolation and everything that comes with that.
it felt great. I mean, it felt fantastic. It was like just the energy of being there. I mean, I was gonna go to Psycho anyway. Me and my girlfriend
How can
Katie.
you afford that? You know what? We'll talk that off the record.
Oh, It, I think we did payments. They have the thing where you can make payments, and we just did that because it's fun. You know, we went the first year. We played the first year.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, this is fucking great. You know, it's a festival, but you don't have to worry about camping or you know if you could watch some Godflesh or Neurosis or whoever's playing, and you know if you feel like going back up to your room for 45 minutes, cool. You know, it's like you don't have to like. It's awesome. Um, so anyway, it it worked out, and we wound up getting like, you know, we find ways. Katie's really good at finding deals on things, so you know, whatever. So we're not rich by any stretch of the imagination,
But you were asked to play the festival, and that in itself is an honor. But how did you enjoy playing these new songs live?
the, the new songs were amazing. It was great to play them. I actually enjoy. I hate to say this, but it's like maybe with the exception of one or two songs, it's like I would play all the new stuff is just so because it's this lineup. You know what I mean?
It's also powerful. The new stuff. Listen, not to diminish your prior catalogs, it's incredible as well. But the new stuff is fresh, it's vibrant, and it has teeth. And of course, you want to show it off. Of course, you want to play it. Especially like I said, we just came off of a black tunnel pandemic, man. Like now we're in the sunlight again.
Yeah, I would say it was great to play. It was great to play in front of people who were like we were a little worried. I mean, I was worried when we played Roadburn for the similar reason. We were playing opposite of Paradise Lost. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, nobody's going to show up. And then the room filled up, and we're like, yeah. This we were up against Gate Creeper and at the pool and Tribulation, and people still showed up. I mean, it was one of, they have a bunch of different stages. They have the big stage and you have the pool stage and a couple more medium sized club size stage, and we were on one of those. But man, people were still into it, and it was awesome. It was awesome to play these tunes in front of people, especially.
Were you happy that you weren't playing in a pool setting and watching a bunch of idiots slam dance in a pool?
You know what? That would be fun. I don't know. I mean, I've never really with this band. I've never played something like that. So I mean,
I'm sorry, it's my toxicity coming out. Let
I don't know.
me get professional again.
I mean, honestly, that the stage we played on was kind of strange, but it was cool. It was like this club, but it's Vegas, so like there's a almost a shopping mall looking passageway right out in front of us, and a gathering of people. Because you had to get tickets to get into the thing, but there's people just there, so we had the people in the club, and then a crowd of people around outside. So it's unique. It's its own thing. So it was great though. It was a lot of fun.
Are you excited to be playing these new songs live on this tour? Talk to me about this tour that you're on.
Yeah, man, we're playing. We were out for a couple weeks. We start in in Oakland.
Yeah, that's, as a matter of fact, let me give the date here. So you're starting the Behold tour uh September 19th in Oakland.
Yep. And then we're going up Pacific Northwest up into Canada, coming down through Montana and back down around Arizona, then back to California. We're finishing up in Palmdale at Transplants in.
Why aren't you playing a Los Angeles date?
And San Diego is the last show at 16, actually, which is awesome.
There's no Los Angeles date on this tour, correct?
There was a Los Angeles date at the beginning of the tour initially. We had to drop that because of the clause for Psycho.
Oh, that's right.
They have the 30-day thing, and like our date, I think it was the 20th that we played. So we couldn't play for a month afterwards. So that's kind of what happened, and we just didn't wind up sticking one on the back end. We can always play LA, it's like not always. I mean, I don't want to be like that, but like I don't even know what the right place to play is right now. It's like since the pandemic's come out, I haven't really been out as much as I would have liked, and I don't know. There's a couple places. There's Catch One, and there's stuff, but like we just haven't even thought about it. We've been so busy making the record, trying to plan this tour, rehearsing a set, that we really haven't thought about, hey, let's do a local show. We should, though. And the other side of that is, even though it's not Los Angeles proper, that Palmdale place, Transplants, is rad.
That's a cool, great place. You know what? Let me mention that place. That's a fantastic venue. It really is. The people are cool. The energy is cool. If you're into drinking craft beer, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah,
you know me, man. Like I really don't like to leave, my fucking little surroundings. I have my own issues, but I've ventured out there, and I bitch all the time, anyways. But I when I get there, I'm happy that I went. It's a great place.
And I found from where I live. I mean, I live in the valley, but like, it takes 40 minutes. I mean, if I get stuck in traffic going downtown to a show, I'm in the car for that long. Or I could go that direction and still be in the car that same amount of time. So it's actually kind of cool, if it's a change of scenery. And it's still technically in Los Angeles County. So I mean,
what's the date of that show? That Transplant?
Is it the 30th or 31st? It's the last date of the tour is October 1st. It's the date. So I don't have my phone on me. Oh wait, yeah, dude. Yeah, whatever the last date is. Look here.
Let's pump that load. Let's pump that show, and also San Diego. San Diego's always been a great city.
Yeah, 16 is playing with us in San Diego, and they're always fun to play with. Those guys rule. And I hope I'm saying this right. I should know because of Conan, but like Nick from Death King's band.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Zimmerman. Yeah, they're great too.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of their shows yet, but like I'm stoked to play with them again.
Yeah, it's great to see Nick on the road as well, on stage again as well. Let me say this. There's no stopping the Behold. There's no stopping the Monolith, man. I mean, you guys, God, you guys, it's been well documented. We've discussed it. You've been through some real world traumas and tragedies, and yet you've managed to rise from that. I think a lot of it has to do because, and I say this sincerely and honorably, you guys are decent, very great human beings that can come together in times of tragedy and have a true union, a true friendship, not only musically, but in it transcends into the real world. And I think that's why this new, I don't want to say new project because it is Behold the Monolith, but this new version that is, as you mentioned, I hope there's longevity and health and creativity and you flow out and create more music. But this new record is what a statement. Again, the Fathomless Deep, and that is on Ripple Music. Make sure you go out and get it. Behold the Monolith starts their tour September 19th in Oakland. And as we mentioned, they'll be playing Transplants in Palmdale. Make sure you get out to that show. One final question, Matt. God, so many years have flown by. The music that we enjoy, the genre has obviously transcended into a marketable state. Attractive women come out to these shows now. Um, how have you been able to stay sincere and balanced and not contaminated in the creative process? Because there's so many bands doing what's been done. How have you been able to creatively stay pure and sincere?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's a good question. I just think
Give me something, goddamn.
it's we just do what we do. We do what we like. It's always what we've done. You know, it's like it's we're not trying to get on the radio. You know, we're not. I mean, we don't. You know, there's a ceiling for bands with that play the really more underground metal, extreme metal kind of thing, and we're fine with it. And it's like, and all the things we like. You know, we just like we just don't overthink it. We're not trying to be anything we aren't. You know what I mean? We just do what we like. And you know, if anything, you know, with the album like Architects, a lot of people like that album a lot, and I do too. It's like there's a couple moments where the vocals get a little too like Corey, like not Corey Feldman, but like metalcore.
I'm glad you clarified that because Corey Feldman, I actually love that fucking train wreck. But anyways,
Yeah, well, not you know, it's just kind of like there's some spots where maybe I missed it because he was had a powerhouse of a vocalist, but like in listening afterwards, I was like, I don't know if that's like a mix I want to hear again from us. But me, Menno, and Chase, we all like a lot of the same stuff, and we all like a bunch of different stuff, and so like we just did what we like. You know, I want to hear a little bit of you know heavy ass post metal-y neurosisy kind of stuff, but I also love Judas Priest riffs. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to fit in any subgenre. We get lumped into not like it's a bad thing, but into stoner metal, and there's I guess there's some of that there just because it's rudimentary. Like some of the riffs are rudimentary, not all of them, but like there's definitely a path back to classic metal, even if the stuff's super heavy. There's always a thing back to like Old Priest and Black Sabbath, and some King Crimson and Pink Floyd. So like, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but I think we figured out our own little formula that sounds like us. You know,
you definitely have. And you know what? I don't like using labels for true artists and musicians. I think the product speaks for itself and it has all the elements that whichever the listener is looking for, it has.
right,
It has
right.
the substance of what you would desire. With that, I'm gonna wish you luck on this tour.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing you play live. Again, let me mention this record. It's on Ripple Music. The Fathomless Deep. What a way to exit the great period of the world and come out with some powerful, truly genuine, heavy, real music. And also, It's great to see. I consider you guys my friends. Please don't, not on the record tell me I'm not. But anyways, it's great to see my friends come together and overachieve the fucking snafu that we've all been dealing with lately, and to come out with some amazing music. With that, I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you balance and health, and I look forward to hearing your fucking riffs play loud over your stacks.
Thank you very much, and we wish the same for you, man. It's good, always good talking to you.
Yeah, one more thing. Let me just mention this. Dave Crocker of Yitter had passed away, and I just want to give condolences to Dave and the Yitter guys, because here in Los Angeles, we're all a small family, and that right there, I just want to mention Dave, and rest in peace, Dave.
Yeah, yeah, he'll be missed. He was like, I love. He was just a cool dude, and loved playing shows with Yidra, and they came out to our last show at the transplants. It was great seeing those guys, and every time I was at, I think it was Nightingale Rehearsal Studios where he worked, I'd always
Yeah.
talk to him, and yeah, it sucks. We've lost a lot of people, especially through the pandemic. But like, yeah, that one was a surprise. The timing of it, just very sad, and I feel bad. Wish those guys super well. His friends and family. And I think there's still a thing they're doing to raise money for it. It's on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, there's a GoFundMe for Dave Crocker. It's on my social media page, Jimmy Cabs at Facebook. So who produced the record? Who produced the Fathomless?
Katie, my girlfriend. Well, she didn't produce it.
Oh, wow. Did she?
She does all the high priest. Those high priestess records. She's recording.
Amazing. You know what? Your girlfriend's band, High Priestess, is another amazing band that I like. Fucking, they rock, man.
She goes in with their microphones, and she knows what she's doing. She's got a master's degree in like audio engineering and whatever, and like
Wow. So she worked on this record.
yeah, we couldn't. Yeah, I mean, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I don't know if she'd do it. We were probably a pain in the ass, but like, we've done all our stuff with Billy, and we just couldn't get up there. We didn't have the money. We didn't, because during the pandemic, when
Yeah,
and
we're all eating cup of noodles, man.
he was stuck. Not stuck, but he was up in Portland, and kind of you could see on social media that scene was kind of coming around. That whole thing, and like we didn't have money to fly up there, fly him down here, or rent a studio. And we did rent a studio to record the basic tracks, but like after that, it was microphones and in living rooms and practice rooms, and and we didn't have the money, but we had time because of the pandemic, so we could sit down and like I learned a little bit about recording myself, so it was kind of cool. But yeah,
Wow.
no,
She did a fantastic job. Why don't you mention her name again?
Katie Gilchrist.
Oh, she did a great job, man.
And she did a great job, and they're working on the new High Priestess record. Same deal. She's like a mad scientist with her headphones, and
I'm looking forward to speaking to her as well when it comes out. I'm a big fan of that band.
absolutely, yeah, no, yeah. But that's the only thing I would have mentioned. But keep it short and sweet if you need to. Like
I'm gonna try to see if I could edit this part in there as well. Give her the credit she deserves.
yeah, no, she was awesome. Definite MVP for this record. But I don't, unless somebody buys the record and reads the small credits in print or reads the print on the Bandcamp, it's like we've had people do reviews that assume it's Billy Anderson, and it's like
Right.
not this time.
You know
No,
what?
no.
I'm glad you clarified that, because I thought he worked on this record as well.
Right? No, I mean, I would love to work with Billy again, but it just because of the pandemic, it just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have fucking, no one does shit for free except your loved ones.
We had to do it, like, and we paid Katie. We couldn't pay her, like, we couldn't do a full on production. You know what I mean? Like, and we did, and what got us onto that was that when the pandemic started, that's when we did the demo. We demoed the entire record from front to back with more Manila Road fidelity, kind of. We just kind of threw some mics up on the drums in the practice room, and it wound up sounding badass. And she mixed the hell out of it, and we were like, shit, she should just do the record too.
Yeah, I mean, she did a great job, man.
Yeah, no, she did a great job. So anyway.
All right, my friend. Let me mention the record again for editing purposes. So The Phantom Lives Deep, that's on Ripple Music, and Behold the Monolith hits the road September 19th in Oakland, and you'll be playing Transplants Brewery the 30th or the 31st, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
One more thing. Can I throw one more thing out there?
Absolutely.
It's from the Fathomless Deep.
Sorry,
Oh, look, it's totally cool.
LA Unified, dude.
That's all right. No, just yeah, it's not a big deal. But like some people call it the Fathomless Deep or the Fathomless Depths, or
It's like motherfuckers just stick to the original title, right?
fucking Dagon on the cover, list or something. So yeah, right
Matt,
on.
always a pleasure talking to you, Matt. Thank you for taking the time to be on the 5150.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Take care, my friend.
Late.